Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here today to review the reboot of Roseanne and tell you about my history with the show and also Roseanne Barr, anyways. Um, and so let's start off with I saw the first two episodes of the new reboot of Roseanne. So let's start off with my history of the show. Well, history of Roseanne, anyways. I first found out Roseanne. I used to watch Star Search back in the 80s. That was one of the biggest syndicated shows on TV at the time. Ed McMahon hosted it. It was usually on like a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. And, they had a whole bunch of comedians. Some of the comedians I liked, some of the comedians I couldn't stand. And two of the ones I really couldn't stand was Rosie O'Donnell and Roseanne Barr. Because I know Roseanne Barr's all like, I'll be a domestic goddess. And don't think me as a white thing, domestic goddess. And I thought it was very irritating. And I thought, I didn't think either one was funny. I still really don't like Rosie O'Donnell that much. I've seen her in a couple movies. I thought she did a good imitation of Betty Rubble in the Flintstones movie. You don't think of Rosie O'Donnell when you see the cartoon The Flintstones, but I mean, she did a decent job. She was all right in that. Yeah, I remember seeing her in Another Stakeout, and she was fine in that. And then, I mean, Exit to Eden was terrible. And I never watched her syndicated talk show. I'm just not a fan of Rosie O'Donnell. I still never really liked Rosie O'Donnell. She was fine in those two movies. That was about it. Now, Roseanne Barr, I didn't like her either. And then, eventually, I remember I was in Germany, and I remember renting a Rodney Dangerfield special. I think there was 3 2-hour hour-long run when it was like he was being like do like a little skits and introduce comedians, and they'd be on like an hour and 15-minute long comedy special on VHS. I remember I rented one. I think he was on like People's Court, and his wife was Roseanne Barr. And then I thought she was actually really funny in that. And then I thought, well, maybe she has some promise. And then this is when I was in Germany in the army, and they had something called AFN Armed Forces Network TV show. I mean the channel, and it was like all different channels combined in one channel. And they had Roseanne, and I think I missed the first episode of it. And I heard so much buzz about it. It was like on Mondays at 8:30. I made sure me and my roommate Jeff Moscone made sure to watch it, and we loved it. We were blown away with how incredibly funny it was. And since then, I was a big fan of the show. And then I think the last season, I remember they left on a cliffhanger before the very final season of the old show, where they won the lottery, and then I think people lost interest whenever they had money, and they were doing stuff like dressing up with Gilligan's Island and all this other stuff. And I just lost interest in it too. I mean, I think that's what killed the show. I think they said that was a bad move that killed the show because about working Mary, and then when she had money, it's like I think people tuned out, and they didn't have the problem they did. It wasn't that interesting anymore. It just was like, I don't know, fluff or something. I watched some of the last season, and that was it, and that killed the show. And then, after that, she said that there was an idea. Martin Mull said that he would, I think they owned a business, him and his friend or something like, and she said that would have been a great idea to keep the show going for a little while longer. And so I wish you would have told me early after the show was canceled. And she had her talk show. I never watched a talk show. And I heard she was a nightmare. I hear she's a nightmare to work with. I don't know how she is now, but back then she was. And Mick Foley was telling horror stories about his one book when he was on the show. And he said the staff was in, they were really fed up with her. And then she had a show, and that was pretty, and I remember the national anthem. But she did it on purpose. She didn't know people were going to react the way it was. But, I mean, that was really bad when she sang that. But, I mean, people were really angry after that. And, that was pretty much, and then she had a show on, I think it was on Spike or something called Roseanne's Nuts, or Lifetime, But she had a macadamia nut thing. It was on for like a season or two. And that show was very entertaining. I liked that show. And that was pretty much it for Roseanne. And then earlier this year, I heard they were going to reboot the series. I was like, well, I'll check it out. And I guess they did. And it said it got monster ratings. It was on, they talked about the Inside Edition. And he said they only had 8 shows. And they said if they're going to order more or not, you know, whether it's going to be renewed or not. And the weirdest thing was, I didn't know what time it was on, so I missed it. And then I know people were asking me about it in a live chat last night, Thursday night. And then one guy asked if I saw Roseanne. I said, no, I haven't yet. Because I wanted to see it on that demand on time on that Spectrum, and that dumb digital box says it's unavailable. It doesn't work. So what I did, I have a Roku. I never added the ABC streaming channel on there, and I did that. And I went through, and it said it had 2 episodes of the new Roseanne on it. So I did that. I had to put an activation code in there. So I did all that. I was able to see the first 2 episodes of Roseanne, and I loved it. Now, what this is, it's weird though, because it makes you feel old. Because you know the characters. I knew the characters pretty much. And they do introduce them, you know, people like DJ and Darlene and Becky and stuff like that. And it shows them grown up. And it shows Roseanne and Dan and they're getting up there. And where they have to take all these medicines and stuff like that. They have, you know, problems with knee pain and stuff like that. Pain. And it shows like, you know, Darlene and Becky having problems with relationships, losing a job, trying to get a job, being poor. DJ's in the army. Well, he just got out of the army. His wife is still serving. And also, they talked about the first episode on Inside Edition, saying it was political, where the very first episode, it was Roseanne was voted for Trump, and Jackie, Lori Metcalf, wanted to be was a supporter of Hillary. And it goes through it goes through the political spectrum back and forth. I mean, they're fighting back and forth. Now, that's why I don't bring up politics. Well, I do a video I talk in the here and now, because it's kind of tough to escape politics, who's president now, and all this other stuff. But I try not to make it like I'm for one side. I try to be neutral, because when I did like some. I remember, you know, I did a couple political type videos, and all that happened was the subscribers were fighting with each other. I want this to be a happy place. So it's just, it's just a review. Just like when I talk about Saturday Night Live, I just mentioned if the political humor is funny or not, or creative. And usually it's not creative, it's so funny, not that funny. But I think it's really brilliant what they did. And going back and forth, and it's weird because it goes from, it tap dance between comedy and drama, because I know they have the real hearts in it, and there's some really strong parts in there. I really liked it. And then Becky said she wants to be a surrogate mother. And then you see Dan getting mad. John Goodman. And John Goodman's real. Everybody's really good in this. They put their heart and soul in it. And it said, like, the surrogate mother. They even want the extra mile to bring Sarah Chalk back. And Sarah Chalk was the one that replaced Becky for a year or two. And then, you know, she's supposed to be the girl that wants to be a surrogate. Wants the original Becky, Sarah Gilbert, to be the surrogate mother. You know, and you see, like, Becky's, like, 43 years old and stuff like that. It's really weird. And you see Darlene with kids. And the older kid is kind of like a taller version of her. It's really, it makes you feel old, though, if you grew up with the show. But it's really brilliant. I think it's spot on. Like I said, it goes back and forth between comedy and drama. Kind of like the old show did. Not really in the old days. But, it's really smartly written. I think a lot of scenes are really funny. I think John Goodman really, but everybody has their hearts into the show. I didn't see DJ that much, but he's definitely a part. You saw him somewhat in the first episode. You didn't see him in the second episode. There was 2 episodes. But I think it's a brilliant show. I really like it. I got to find out what time it's on ABC so I don't miss it again. Hopefully it's not up against another show I like. But, I tried to watch it on demand on that Spectrum thing, and it wasn't available. It makes me mad because sometimes you want to see something on there that says unavailable. But with that streaming service, I was able to do it. Sometimes you have to jump through hoops. You have to register, something like that. I have cable, so I mean, you should say like that. Yeah, put an activation code in. That should be it, you know. But something with Fox, they made me do something else. I can't remember what it was. But I really like the show. I think it's really cool they brought it back, and they completely disregarded the whole thing about them winning the lottery. And even like TV people said that was a mistake, them going in that direction, that killed the show. So I mean, I don't know if they're ever going to bring that up. They might bring it up as a joke or something like that. But I mean, they're back to being a struggling family. They say it's you know, they were talking about the success of the show on Inside Edition. And they said, yeah, it's the show about the people want to see it because the show about working class family. Well, that's what the other Roseanne was about. I don't think anyone remembers that. I remember that. I remember my roommate, Jeff Moscone, said, when I get old, I don't want to be like these people at all. But he loved the show, too. I mean, that was a must-see. And I think this is a must-see, too. The reboot of Roseanne gets a full-on 10 out of 10. I loved it. I think it was brilliant. Like I said, it takes the sour taste of that winning the lottery. I mean, everyone wants to win the lottery, but I mean, the way people lost interest. They killed the show that last season. I mean, it was a cool way to end. It was a cool way to end the previous season that they won the lottery. Like, holy crap, they won! And then you come back and it's like, it's not that good anymore, you know. But I love the new reboot of Roseanne. It's fantastic. So I hope you like this video on the history behind Roseanne. I mean, because I wasn't a big fan of Roseanne, and then she won me over. I know my dad, just like my dad, you know, passed away. You know, when my dad hated Tom Hanks. For the longest time, he hated Boots and Buddies. I think he watched like Splash and Big and stuff like that, but he still wasn't a fan of him. He hated Forrest Gump, I know that. And then when Saving Private Ryan came out, I already knew he was a great actor. When Saving Private Ryan, that completely changed my dad's mind about Tom Hanks. And we saw that in Road to Perdition, and my dad wanted to see a couple others. In his opinion, Tom Hanks changed incredibly. But I really liked the new Roseanne. I think you will too. I just got to find out what time it's on ABC, because I don't watch ABC that much anymore. I don't watch a lot of the main networks anymore. It's not like the way it used to be with the main. There's so much competition, and there's too many damn shows out. But I'll definitely check. I mean, there's some shows that have like a priority, you know, you want to see that you haven't seen in a long time. I think, and they said this had monster rating, like 18 million people or 22 million people or something like that. I can't remember. Like he said, Deborah Norville said that they only have 8 episodes now. They made order. I think they will. Now, if they don't, they don't. But I really like the new reboot of Roseanne. It gets a full-on 10 out of 10 for me. So I hope you like this video. Until next time, everybody, please take care of my legion. All right, baby gee. I think that was all I was going to say, yeah. But I like the new streaming service on the streaming channel ABC, but boy, too many commercial breaks. Well, I mean, there are commercial breaks that are natural in there, but there's too many. They show too many commercials, but that's how the streaming channels, a lot of streaming channels, free stream to make money. So until next time, bye. Please take care.